Rolling. Okay, so we're in Edinburgh at the University of Edinburgh, the
School of Philosophy, Psychology, and Language Sciences,
and,
but psychology in this office.
and I don't want to butcher your name. Is it Jasna?
Jasna, yes.
Jasna.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just kind of impromptu ask you to share with me a little bit about your research so people could get some visual perceptions and all these cool things.
Yeah, so I study color vision, but also visual perception in general, although color for me is the most fascinating, as the only really ultimately pure visual sensation. You can't smell color or touch color, you can only see it. So it's really in its nature, it is pure visual sensation. And because of that, color can also reveal a lot about how we see and how the brain works. And what I like to do in my work, and especially when I try to inspire people to think about perception and to think about science and color, I combine all of that through visual illusions. So I like to do demos of visual illusion. There is a fantastic website curated by Professor Michael Bach of University of Freiburg. So if you just Google visual illusions.
Well, we're going to put the link here in the video.
Right.
So you could all look at the link, and I'm going to put a little description for you so people could follow up with you
Marvelous.
as well.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much.
So what are we going to find in the link on the website?
So once you get to that website, you're going to see 145 visual illusions, all classed in different themes. So motion illusions, about when things move and you see moving in one direction when it's actually not moving in that direction at all. So a visual illusion, essentially, it's when you perceive something that isn't veridical in terms of what is happening out there, and your percept, they are somehow askew. And the real interesting thing about these illusions is that when you think about why that happens, you could think that that's a failure. But it's not a failure of our visual system. That's a very simple way to think about illusions, that our vision has somehow failed to see what's really there. Because actually, when you look at a couple of illusions, you will see that all of them include some sort of strangely oriented lines or colors juxtaposed in a particular context. These things you never encounter in everyday life. Our vision has evolved to see the real world, the natural images, you move your eyes and so on. So the illusions actually reveal a shortcut that our brain is taking to make sense of the world more efficiently. And that's why it fails to deal with these images, because these images reveal the shortcuts that our brain is doing to perform as efficiently as it can. And so thinking about illusions, like you can learn about perception, but you can learn about how the brain works in general. And I just think that's really interesting, and like everyone can be a scientist in this way.
That's so cool. I love how you're saying like that like how you don't give it the title of failure, but it's actually like this is how our brain actually gets the most and uses less. So instead of seeing, because positive fest is like it's, we're talking mental health,
Exactly.
like learning about this. Instead of saying, oh, this is how my brain fails, you're saying, this is how my brain does shortcuts.
This is how my brain succeeds to
Yeah.
perform as efficiently as it can. Because actually, our brain is not a camera. Our brain doesn't have, I don't know, a filter for every wavelength to capture every single detail. Our brain has to be flexible and has to adapt to its environment. And so it is optimized to actually process information in a certain way, like when you talk about in positive psychology or in reasoning psychology, you talk about heuristics. This is what happens, this is how things. Well, our perception is in the same way. So it's really interesting to think about perception and to think about illusions, and then to think about other things that may generalize to.
Wow. I wonder I wonder mentally if we do that with like the way we see ourselves. Like I'm pretty sure we take shortcuts, and I did this program called Landmark where it teaches you of like the ways that you're lazy about it's like like emotionally, sometimes we, instead of acting on what's important to us, we're like, someone did this, and therefore I'm like this, so there's nothing I can do about it. So it's like ways of like shortcuts that the brain does, so you don't have to.
Yeah, same, because that's the same place where like, so some good things can come out of that, but you can also let bad things come out of that. So I have a colleague who actually thinks that stereotypes come out of that same place. So in a sense, a stereotype is a way for you not to have to think about other people in all the complexity that they are as, you know, a really unique, genuine person, and you can just have a stereotype. Old people are like this, children are like this. And while to a degree that can be useful, because you can make an assumption, some positive assumptions about older people, and some positive, but when it becomes negative assumptions,
that's so cool.
That's where we need to be careful.
So that's where we could use your tools of like learning what are the shortcuts that we have.
Yeah, and then
be a scientist.
Like thinking, am I making a good shortcut or a bad shortcut?
Yeah.
Being a scientist when you analyze your shortcuts.
And I'm sure it's also visually, with the visual illusion.
It's nice.
Really
it's good fun. So when you go on the website, I would just say, if anyone has migraines or seizure disorder, be careful with the motion and the luminance illusions, but you can safely go to the color ones, because they are all safe for every single person. So
I'm so excited.
that's just my health and safety disclaimer here.
Cool. Well, thank you so much.
No, thank you, Shulhavit, for having me. And I just want to say, PosiFest just sounds so exciting. I can't wait to come and experience it myself.
Yeah, PosiFest is lovely. So we're in the office in the School of
PPLS,
Psychology, University of Edinburgh, and PosiFest is going to happen right across the street from here at the Pear Tree. So it's really close. Yay! Can't wait to see everybody, and check out the links below. And thanks for being with us.
Bye.